Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. This is episode 38 of the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. How's it going out there, everybody? Appreciate you guys joining me back here for another episode. You dig, man? Good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my listeners all across the world, man. Shout out to all my listeners, man, in the UK, all over the States, Mexico, Germany, the Canada. Appreciate you guys joining me each and every week here on Talk Pro Wrestling. You dig, man? Oh, man, the guys, man, I'm back with another episode. I'm glad you guys joining me. This week's guest is going to be a fire one, you guys, man. My man, Fuego Del Sol, you guys. He's from Mobile, Alabama. He's an independent pro wrestler. You may have seen him on AEW Dark if you ain't had none of the rock, you guys. Man, he's the master of the Tornado DDT. My man, Fuego Del Sol, is going to be joining me here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, you guys, this week. Before we get to that, you guys, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. And if you're watching on YouTube, you guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But you guys, man, also, I want to shout out my guest who was on last week here on the podcast, my guy, Deshaun Whip Dog Whipple. Can't wait for your premiere show with Vince Russo. It's going to be dope. And also, my co-host was on last week, my man, Gator Live. Appreciate you, guys. Appreciate you. But you guys, like I was saying, my man, Fuego Del Sol here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling this week. Yo, Fuego, what's going on with you, bro?
What's up, man? It's good to be here. I'm glad to be on the Talk Pro Wrestling podcast, bro. 1130. Let's do it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Man, it's been an honor, man. I know people, man, just probably be in your inbox, man. And I was reaching out to you because, you know, I've been podcasting for about a year now, and one guest after another guest led on to a lot of people who have been in the wrestling business or is in the wrestling business, you know, and collaborating and doing podcasts with guys who were on AEW Dark, such as Eddie Torres, my man Ken Beckner, you know, and a lot of guys, and such as yourself, man, just traveling all across the world. Once again, I want to thank you for your time to stop past here, just chat with me here on Talk Pro Wrestling. But for guys, man, who are not familiar with you, can you tell them something cool about you, man? Just, you know, just something.
Oh man, well, I don't know where to start, bro. I've been doing this 7 years. I've been loving pro wrestling for as long as I can remember. And now I'm doing it every week on AEW Dark. I am the master of the Tornado DDT and Fire of the Sun, translated to Fuego Del Sol.
Okay, man, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. But you're on AEW Dark now, and you're doing big things. Just how's life, just in general, man?
It's better than ever. I mean, I'm having the most fun I've ever had in my career at AEW, and there's no place that I really want to be besides AEW. So I'm just trying to earn a full-time spot in this company, and I'm doing everything I can. I'm enjoying the wave, the ride, and I'm going to ride it until it leads to hopefully bigger and better things. So life has been fantastic since starting here in AEW.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. You've been on TV. Some have may have seen you on WWE TV. You've been on Sammy Guevara's YouTube channel, and you wrestle all over the world, man. I want to know your thoughts. Just, you know, how do you get in the wrestling business?
Oh man, so I started because of backyard wrestling. When I started my own channel way back in probably 2010 now at this point, I just jumping around on the trampoline, and one video went viral. And I started getting paid doing backyard wrestling. And I thought, if I can do this in the backyard, why not transition to being a pro wrestler? And I've been off to the races ever since, 7 years, grinding to try to make it into wrestling. My dad was always a huge wrestling fan. He got me into it as a kid, and it's been wrestling ever since.
Okay, you got into it as a kid. You know, who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Oh, man, there's many. But Shawn Michaels really stands out as one of my top guys there. Absolutely. And then AJ Styles over in TNA was doing killer thing. So he was a big influence on me, as well as Eddie Guerrero and then Rey Mysterio on the lucha side of things.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. You've been in the wrestling business for some time, and you named some of the guys. Who in the wrestling business that you meet that you were starstruck at? You know, the first time you met him.
Oh man, I remember being on one of my first big shows, and Matt Hardy was there, and it was just like, I was like, man, I watched Matt and Jeff. And me and my brother used to go out on the trampoline and pretend to be those guys. So just seeing Matt for the first time, really, I was like, man, being on the same show with that guy, it hit me in a way that I felt like a fan again, like I did. I felt like that, 8-7 year old kid that I was jumping on a trampoline with my brother pretend to be Matt and Jeff.
Yeah, man, because that's actually how Jeff and Matt started out, on the trampoline,
Exactly.
trampoline wrestling, man. And man, I love what you're doing, man. Even though my man Peter Avalon got his first win over you, man, I was like, man, hold up, wait a minute. I know my man Fuego is going to win this. He's going to win this. But man, it's crazy. I know it got to be an awesome time. How is it? Just busting your ass on the indies and now just hanging around guys like your best friend Sammy Guevara and Cody Rhodes.
Oh man, so it's almost validating in a way. Like you worked for 7 years and you're wondering sometimes, like you're wondering aimlessly, trying to get to somewhere but don't know exactly how to do it. And this kind of all happened so fast, and now I'm here, and it just feels like validating to all of my 7 years of long, hard, treacherous work that I've been doing to get here, and then to be able to do it alongside one of my best friends and do bits with Cody Rhodes. It almost feels surreal. It doesn't feel real, and I don't know when it'll kick in. I always tell people to pinch me because it just still doesn't feel like it's real. But then again, it also feels like exactly where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing all at the same time. So, like I said, the best time that I've ever had in my career, almost maybe in my life, has been in these past several months at AEW.
Hey, that's what's up, man. If it's happening right now, that was supposed to happen. So you on a good track of it, man. What inspires you?
Man, my family, bro. My family wanting to make it for them. But then I get inspiration from everything, every little thing. I'm a very sentimental guy, and I'm very passionate. And so when I see someone else's passion, it just inspires me to do great. So whether seeing someone else make it and get a contract, whether watching something like The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, that inspires me. Seeing people grind to get to where they want to be, that is motivation. And then seeing my family wanting to make it for them and prove them, hey, this guy that you've helped out and pushed along the way, and seeing him struggle and grind for 7 years is finally on the right track, and that inspires me.
That's what's up, man. That's really cool. This interview is inspiring. People say, I'm inspiring. I'm in a wheelchair. And I also mentioned earlier, I've been podcasting for about a year now, and coming across a lot of people, having Shane Taylor on, having Miranda Morales on, such as great people, and just being a big fan of wrestling, but also just wanted to get a peek, or not more so of a peek, but just learn from guys who are inside the wrestling business. And I know 2020, of course, last year been a crazy year, and a lot of independent wrestlers were out of work. So AEW, of course, gave a lot of guys a good chance to show their talents, and you're doing that, as well. What does the future hold for Fuego del Sol in AEW?
Oh man, it's hard to tell because, like I said, it's a funny thing, and we make jokes about it on the vlog because I'm not signed here yet. Nothing has been signed, locked down. I'm not exclusive here, but this is exactly the place I want to be. I'm trying to earn that spot, and so what the future holds right now, hopefully, is that I get my match with QT Marshall, which if people have been watching the vlog, they know exactly how that feud has been going. I want to hit the Tornado DDT, the move that I am the master of, because when I do hit it, I will get that win. And when I get that win, that means that contract is not too far behind. And so that's the main goal, is to get this job, baby.
That's what's up. You talked about QT Marshall. Man, you got your YouTube channel, man, and you've been doing it big on that. You started to get back into it. On your YouTube channel, you said you lost motivation. How did you lose motivation?
Ooh, it's just that when the pandemic hit, it was just like I felt like I was a well-oiled machine on the independents, man, doing everything right. And I had a bunch of big plans coming for this year, of things I wanted to do and places I wanted to go. And it just all come crashing down and it really hit an abrupt halt when the pandemic hit. And just because you didn't know what was coming next, and 1 month turned into 2 months, and 2 months into 3, and how it escalated from there. And so I really lacked motivation because I didn't know. It's almost like, why are we working if we don't know what we're working towards? And there was no end to this pandemic in sight. And luckily, a ray of light hit when I was asked to come to AEW for the first time, and that reignited my motivation. That reignited my fire to want to be able to get back in where I was at the time before the pandemic hit, so that way I can prove to all of the world and to AEW that I belong.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. You belong, man. Tell me something about your YouTube channel.
Man, so I started my YouTube channel I had the original YouTube channel for Backyard Wrestling, and then I eventually met Sammy, who we met through YouTube because he wanted me to help him, kind of help produce his channel, get it hired. And then luckily he became such a big star. He was like, hey, you should start doing YouTube as well. And so I started doing vlogs kind of like him, but trying to put my own spin and twist on it. And he kind of helped me with that. And so we've just been helping each other so much that he kind of helped me get here. And luckily, unfortunately now, because I'm not signed, I can't be filming as much stuff backstage at AEW as I would like. So I've put the vlogs on standstill until I lock down this contract. But it's okay because I've still been able to get a bunch of camera time on Sammy's vlog, and he's been at least keeping me relevant in that sense on the YouTube side of things. So that way, when I do finally get this job, I can start filming stuff again on my channel.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Man, you're doing big things. I know you're gonna be doing big things in the wrestling business, man. So that's gonna be cool. You guys, man, we're gonna move on here on Talk Pro Wrestling. I got a question I want to ask you, man. There's been some comments made on the Joe Rogan podcast, if you're familiar with Joe Rogan.
Oh, absolutely.
He had the Undertaker on his podcast, now since the Undertaker is just retired and he's starting to do a lot of interviews and being out there more. The Undertaker made a comment and said back in the days, in the locker rooms, it was where tough men were at, and it wasn't a lot of basically bullshit going on. Xavier, I guess, took that, in a way, because Taker basically said it was guns and knives, in the locker room. Men handled what they had to handle. If they, was a beef in the locker room. Xavier said, well, nowadays it's much healthier to have a video game in the locker room than having, I guess, guns and knives in there. What's your thoughts on that? I don't know if you heard of it, but what's your thoughts on it now? I guess Taker is from an old generation, and of course, Xavier is speaking from, a new generation.
I feel like, like you said, it is generational. As a society as a whole, not even just in wrestling, we've evolved to a sense to be more progressive and more peaceful and more, in a way, just inclusive all around. And of course, that's going to translate to wrestling as well. It's really a give and take thing, because you want to be successful and you want competitors in the locker room, but you also want your locker room to be full of just good, decent human beings as well. And so it's a give and take thing. And I understand where Taker's coming from, because in that old mind, it was a dog-eat-dog world. But here and now, it's more of a together unit to where people want to work together to put out the best product possible. Whereas in their minds, it was, I have to be the best. And because all of them had that same mindset, it did help produce great stuff as well. So it's a give and take world, but I think the locker room has evolved with society as a whole. And I feel like for the best in that sense.
Yeah, it evolved for the best, man. For the best. Because back in the days, man, there was some crazy stuff going on back in the days. What you think of the wrestling business as a whole now in 2021?
I mean, especially since AEW has hit the scene, I feel like it's been a new wrestling boom. It gives you something to get excited about. Everyone loves that healthy competition, and we really haven't had that in the past several years. And now that it's back, it almost ignites a fire in all of the talent to want to be the best that they can be, and that is fun to watch. So you get Twitter beefs between companies, you get ratings wars between companies, you get a bunch of guys motivated to be better, to be the best in their company, but not only their company, to be the best in the world. And to be the best in the world, you got to be better than the other company as well. And that has produced some really fun stuff on social media and on TV in the past several months since AEW has become a thing.
Yeah, it's becoming a thing, man. It's becoming a thing. You've been shining on AEW Dark. Who would you like to work with?
Oh, man, there's a few people that I haven't got to work with yet that I would love to wrestle, man. Even my buddy Marco Stunt, we were talking. We would love to get in the ring together. Santana and Ortiz, hopefully I get to do that really soon. I think they're a world-class tag team unit, and I would love to jump in there with them. Same with Private Party. I would love to, young guys, hungry, wants to have good matches, wants some competition. Well, I want to be that competition. Let me in there with guys like that. And those are just names that jump out at me immediately. There's plenty of guys. Matt Seidel's another one. I got to wrestle him on the independent scene 4 years ago. And I wasn't the same wrestler then that I am now. And I'm so much better. And I want to get in there and show him that face to face.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. You do that, man. I'm not going to hold you for too long, man. I just want to say thank you. And I appreciate you being on the podcast this week on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. I do have one question, man. Do you feel as though Cody Rhodes has too much power?
Maybe too much. I think it's just the long build up at the start. That long, I feel like then added on with the pyro, I get why people have a problem with it. But at the end of the day, nobody believes more that he's Cody effing Rhodes than Cody effing Rhodes.
Hey,
and when you commit that hard, you can't tell anybody how much pyro they should get. He owns it, and I love it. I love that he commits to everything he does, whether it be a bit in the back in that ring or even on his entrance. Now, when you commit that hard, you're gonna get haters, but it is what it is because you got to go all out.
Yeah, you got to go all out, man. I love it. I love it, man. It was just rumors going around that, you take up the budget of the pyro. So I was like, wow, I was watching AEW the other day. I was like, man, you don't really got too much pyro, So, so I'm a big fan of the pyro too. So I was like, nah, he good, man. So
I think he's good.
He's good, man. They need to give you pyro next, man. So that's gonna be good.
Just a little bit of flames. I just want a little bit of flames, baby.
That's what's up, man. Fuego, man. I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast, man. Before you go, any shout outs, anything you'd like to say, man?
Hey, man, if y'all can just make sure y'all go follow me on my social media, KBW_Cage on Twitter, Fuego Del Sol _ on Instagram, and then ProWrestlingTees.com/Fuego Del Sol. I am not signed yet, so every t-shirt helps, if you know what I'm saying. But besides that, just catch me on every Tuesday on Sammy Guevara's vlog, and I appreciate you having me on this 1130 podcast, baby.
No problem, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Stay safe out there. Keep knocking it out the park. Can't wait to see you on Dark, man. You've been killing it, man. You've been killing it. So once again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day, man. Thank you.
You too, baby.
Yo, Fuego Del Sol, man. I appreciate you joining me here this week on the 1130 podcast, man. Talk pro wrestling. It was an honor. It was a dope time for you stopping past here on the podcast this week. I know you're busy, man. It was great chatting with you, great chopping it up with you this week on the podcast. I just want to say, man, keep killing it, man. Don't lose motivation. If you do, man, just look around you, man, and see what you got. You're a blessed guy. I just want to say thank you for your time. It was an honor chatting it up and just getting to know you and just chatting some wrestling, man. With the Cody situation, it's just rumors going around. There's always rumors going around nowadays and these days in pro wrestling, though. But no, man, I do not feel like Cody got too much pyro. I love it, man. That's my favorite part of an interest, man, in wrestling, man. The pyros, man. So, and close to music, man. So I love it. Fuego Del Sol. Thank you once again for joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. But you guys, man, on the other side of the break, you guys, I got my guy, Sam Mitchell. He's the host of Autism Rocks and Rolls podcast, you guys. He's from Indiana. He's going to be joining me here on the 1130 podcast. He's going to make a quick stop. We're going to chat some SmackDown, a little bit Monday Night Raw, man. And, we're going to see where it goes, man. Right after the break, I got a message by my friends over at Anchor, you guys. Sit tight, and we'll be right back here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Yo, you guys, welcome back here to the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the commercial break. And also, shout out to my guests earlier, just came off, man. My guy, Fuego Del Sol. I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, my guy. Great time chatting with you. But you guys, man, once again, welcome back here to the show, man. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. And yes, man, I'm back. And I got another guest, my guy, Sam Mitchell, you guys. He is the first guest here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. And now he's returning back here in January. We're going to chop it up. It's going to be very great. My man, Sam Mitchell, he's the host of Autism Rocks and Rolls podcast. He's from Indianapolis. So that's going to be really great, you guys. He's doing some really huge stuff and really big stuff. So I'm here to chat it up with him and catch it up, man. So Sam, how's it going, bro?
I'm all right, man. I'm doing good. I just got I recently just did a TED Talk, so that was something big I did. So very proud of that.
Yeah, that was really good, man. How was it? We're gonna jump into it, man, because I've seen you doing a lot of great things and a lot of great podcasters, such as myself, you know, in a bunch of these groups, you know, and I'm starting to hear, you know, Sam, you know, big TED Talks, you know. How was it?
Well, it was virtual because of what's going on around us, obviously.
Yeah.
But it went well. Mine was about autism and why we need structure.
Okay.
Why people need structure, because I know you're disabled, if you don't mind me mentioning. Do you think structure helps you since you're in a wheelchair a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think structure, you know, helps everybody, but yes, it does help me.
And it helps me too, because for me, it makes life so much easier and it's organized. Probably for someone in a wheelchair, it'll probably make your life a lot more easier and a little bit more less stressful.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. You're right about that. But just how's life just been since the last time we chat? It was like back in July. So, you know, how's everything? Is the podcast doing great?
Oh, it's going good. It's going good. I've had some more guests. Let me see. I told you about Armani. I told you about Simon. I told you about my family. Here's someone new for you. I've had Mandy Harvey, who was the first deaf singer, not first deaf singer, who's a deaf singer who won Simon Cowell's Golden Buzzer in the America's Got Talent season of 2017.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember that.
I've had no instructors. And then I've had Peter Lance, who is a video game developer, and he has autism himself.
Okay. Yeah, that Golden Buzzer one from America's Got Talent, I definitely remember that. And I already knew he was going to get the Golden Buzzer, man, because he sounded really good. That was really good, man. But, you know, you've been doing your thing, man, and haven't chatted up since July. You know how we do here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, just, you know, recapping some pro wrestling that went on. I was chatting with my man, Fuego Del Sol, early on the show about AEW, but we're going to chat some Raw and SmackDown, man. Raw and SmackDown been, you know, up and down, but SmackDown has definitely been the show. It's been a lot changed since July. We're going to start it off with Raw and Monday Night Raw. Man, Randy Orton is a different monster. He's a different beast. Now with what happened with him and Alexa Bliss with the flamethrower, now he has a mask on, opening up Raw this past Monday with an amazing promo. You know, it just seems like everything Randy do and touches is just completely gold. I want to know your thoughts on this whole feud and this, you know, whole thoughts on Randy Orton in general and this whole feud with him, Alexa Bliss, and Bray Wyatt.
I love it. That keeps me in tune for Raw. I love it. I think it's definitely a lot better than the first time they had a feud with the WrestleMania 33. That I'm not saying it was bad, but it was okay. I mean, it's always been a dream of mine to see those two, but I think this one's a lot better because it keeps me in tune.
Yeah.
And wants me to see more. Like, what's going to happen next? Those are storylines I love, is what's going to happen next? Are they going to do this? I mean, sure, you get those championships, but the rise that make me think, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right. This whole storyline has been, crazy. And I'm interested, what's going to happen next. It's kind of like been the only main thing that's been interesting on Monday Night Raw right now. But Randy Orton set Bray Wyatt on fire, and Alexa Bliss is kind of like in his place. What's your thoughts on Alexa Bliss? I hear you say you like it. I don't know anybody out right now watching wrestling, they just don't like this. But what's your thoughts on Alexa Bliss, though? And her psychotic ways.
She fits perfectly for this role. It reminds me of the WWE Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. It reminds them of Harley Quinn and some of the DC Marvel comics and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was cool. Also, man, we seen Charlotte. Where do you think Charlotte is going to go from here, or her big matchup coming up at WrestleMania this year?
I don't know. I think she's just going to be a placeholder. I can see her. She's just going to be put in someone's place and just going to be like a placeholder match where you're just like, oh, woohoo, next.
Yeah, she is. She's champion right now. Most likely she's probably going to win the championship again. We really don't want that, man. Charlotte is going to be like an 11-time women's champion. It seems like she's going to do the same thing her father, become a 16-time women's world champion. How do you feel about that? How you feel about that?
Really. It's following her dad, but whatever makes her happy.
Yeah, you're right. Whatever makes her happy, man. Whatever makes her happy. Monday Night Raw, man, is, how are you feeling about it, man? You've been a fan for some time, and you've been a fan when it was 2 hours. A lot of people, of course, don't like the 3-hour format. It's a whole lot of ad revenue, and it's taken away from the fun of it, and it's too many commercials. How do you feel about it? You think Raw should be a 2-hour show, go back to 2 hours, or you like the 3-hour format?
Yeah, I like the 2-hour. 2-hour, it's so much better. It was so much easier. Enough's enough. After 3 hours, you're like, okay, the show's over.
Yeah. Hey, you're right. The show is over, man. 3 hours is a lot, man. I was always a big fan of the 3-hour format, especially when it was just 2 hours. For me, it just wasn't enough. But yeah, it would be interesting to see them trying to go back to the 2-hour format with Raw, since, SmackDown is really hitting it off. And speaking of SmackDown, man, Roman Reigns is back. He is the tribal chief. He is the head of the table. Last time we talked, this whole story wasn't going in, so I gotta hear your thoughts, my man. Sam, what's your thoughts on Roman?
As a tribal chief, it's a different change. I think it's a good change for now, but I want to see him back as the big dog eventually.
Interesting. Why you say that?
Well, I think at the time when he got booed he was getting old, but after that leukemia incident, when he returned, people were, I think, starting to realize, like, oh, shoot. Now I realize why he's so important and why there's a big hole. I think it was good, and it needs to go on for a while, this tribal chief persona, but after a while, it needs to go back to the big dog, because I want to hear people cheer for him, because after that hole, when he was gone, to me, all I want to hear is Roman rocks, or, not a boo ordeal.
Okay, so you prefer him go back to the big dog because you want him to get cheered? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, because I think I'm so used to getting cheered that I'm still trying to process him getting booed. It's like,
I mean, well, he was getting booed. I mean, as crazy as it may seem, though, he's been getting booed for some time. I mean, when he came back from the leukemia, everybody was on his side. Everybody, when he said he was back in commission, the roof blew off, the building they were in that night. But throughout of it, ins and out, they were still booing him. And I think, he's still the big dog. He's still the man. It's just that I think during his time out from, I believe it was maybe March, and all the way up until August, I believe he had to spend some time, just maybe a little time, with his cousin The Rock, because it just seems like everything he says is just much more meaningful. Yeah, it may come off, a little aggressive or mob-like, but, I dig it. I really dig it. What's your favorite thing that, that's going on SmackDown right now, besides, Roman?
What is our favorite thing on SmackDown right now? I gotta think about that. Probably this whole storyline with Sammy. I'm the Intercontinental Champion. Woo! I'm supposed to be the champion.
Yeah. Do you think he's the rightful Intercontinental Champion, even though he didn't lose it? You know, I mean, well, he did lose it to Big E, but before then, did you feel like he was the rightful Intercontinental Champion?
Yeah.
Plain
Yes.
and simple, right? Plain and simple. Yeah. I feel.
Yes. They would go like, I get it. I take time because of this coronavirus, but give the man his championship back. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
I always told you, like last time, I love it as a heel. I love it.
Yeah, this past week though, speaking of Sammy, he was in a match with Apollo, and on last week's SmackDown, we seen Apollo and Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman chatting it up. Where do you think this is gonna go between Apollo and Roman Reigns?
I'm hoping this goes where Apollo changes his character.
Yeah,
Where he becomes a villain. Because this may be a good change for him.
Yeah, I would like to see Apollo benefit after this. I think Apollo had a big benefit when he won the United States Championship at the beginning of the pandemic. And now since he's on SmackDown right now, kind of like emerging himself with Paul Heyman, you know, hopefully it'd be good. Hopefully it'd be very, very, very good. We're gonna move on, you guys, here on Talk Pro Wrestling. Bailey, got some new talk show. I love it. Ding dong, it's Bailey. What's your thoughts on her new talk show?
It's a talk show. I've always liked the talk show Ms. TV.
Ms. TV. Yeah, I think Ms. TV is a little old right now. That one they had on Monday Night Raw with Gilbert and the other guy. I mean, a lot of people thought it was funny though. And I'm like, really though? Y'all could have canceled Ms. TV for the week this week though. But you know, hey, it's a talk show. I don't know why WWE think they need more talk shows, but it's a talk show. It's a talk show. But Roman Reigns is back, and he's going to be taking. Not Roman Reigns, excuse me. Kevin Owens is back, and he's going to be taking the place of Adam Pearce, which a lot of fans went crazy over, thinking that Adam Pearce would take on Roman Reigns. But KO is back, and he would take on Roman at the Royal Rumble. What's your thoughts on that?
Ooh. Well, I think Kevin Owens is good, like I've always said. I think he's a perfect persona to go against this evil Roman Reigns. But he needs to go, like I said last time, he needs to go back to his NXT days and wrestle like he did in his NXT days, not use the stunner. I hate when he uses it. I hate it. Because that's Stone Cold's thing.
Yeah, you're right. He did, of course, ask for permission, though, but it does suit the wrestlers better when they do have their own finisher move and be creative. So, yeah, man, I definitely feel you. Kevin Owens was a beast and a monster when he was in NXT, power bombing everybody on the ring apron. So I guess maybe that's what he needs right now.
That was the better.
Yeah, you're right. That was the better one. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, it's coming up. Who you got winning the Royal Rumble?
I don't know yet. I read it online. I picked 4 predictions. Daniel Bryan, Keith Lee, Big E, Randy Orton, or The Fiend.
Okay, you got those 5 choices.
Yep.
My choice is Big E. What about the woman's side?
Alexa.
Alexa. That's good. I didn't even think of that. My pick for the Women's Royal Rumble winning that was Sonya Deville. She returned. Yeah, she returned on SmackDown. I thought that was, cool because we haven't seen her in a while. Last time we seen her, she lost her match at SummerSlam and a loser leaves WWE. So she's back and hopefully it'll be great. Hopefully it'll be very, very great, man. Sam, man, I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast this week, my guy. Before you go, any shout outs, anything you want to say, man? Promote your podcast, anything?
Yeah. So you can find my podcast on my website, autismrockstrolls.com, or on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, LinkedIn, Stitcher.
Okay, that's what's up, you guys, man. Don't forget, you heard it right here. Follow Autism Rocks and Rose podcast. Follow my man Sam Mitchell on all social media platforms. You guys, go check him out. Sam, I appreciate you, man. I thank you for being my first guest on Talk Pro Wrestling, and to catch up with you, say hey, to see how you doing, man. Stay safe out there, and just keep going at it, man. Keep killing it in the podcast, man.
I will. Thank you.
No problem. Yo, my man Sam Mitchell, I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. It was awesome time chatting with you, man. I know you had to go, man. But man, great chatting with you. I'm glad you got to do the TED Talk, man, and accomplish a lot of things, man. So it was awesome. Very, very awesome, you guys, man. Don't forget to follow and subscribe and go check out the Autism Rocks and Roll podcast by my man Sam Mitchell, you guys. For real. And follow him on all social media platforms. It was a dope time. It was an honor, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. But you guys, also, I want to thank my man Fuego Del Sol for stopping past here earlier in the podcast. You guys may have seen him on AEW Dark. You may have seen him on AEW, man. Just, go check him out each and every week and follow his YouTube channel and also Sammy Guevara's YouTube channel, man. It's been a dope episode, chopping it up another week here of pro wrestling. Not too much really going on besides Roman Reigns is still killing it, and Kevin Owens is back to take on, just like I was talking to my man Sam, KO is back to take on Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. I think it would have been better. See, nowadays WWE just don't have time, or they don't want to build on nothing. The only thing that seems like they building on right now is the whole tribal chief Roman Reigns Uso story, the bloodline. That's the only thing. Why Kevin Owens could have stayed out a little bit. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura was having a really good time, a really good match. He won over Jey Uso this past week, and not only that, he won the gauntlet match to proclaimly go on to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. But no, you're going to put aside a guy who already had his opportunity and place him there. Then I think if you're going to put Kevin Owens, man, just like my man Sam Mitchell said, Kevin Owens need to go back to, a badass Kevin Owens. I mean, how many times can he fight more or KO fight? Just like, come on, man. So I think Kevin Owens is another guy who got a really lot of potential to do a whole lot in the WWE in general, man. And he haven't been really, a shocker or that surprise factor since he been out in NXT. It's kind of sad that since they leave NXT and they come up to Monday Night Raw, just everything, completely changed, man. So, yeah, man. Other than that, Ding Dong Bailey, man. I love her new talk show, man. I love the name. I thought it was hilarious. The fact that she had Bianca Belair go through the door, that's crazy. It's just like MVP when you have the MVP lounge, man. You ain't about to walk past the ropes, bro. Like, you wait for my security guard to let you in, man. So that's cool, man. But man, yeah, SmackDown is really killing it each and every week. We're going to see what happened tonight on SmackDown with Kevin Owens, trying to get it right. Kevin Owens, I was trying to say KO. He's back and he's going to be there and see where it goes from there, man. Because Roman Reigns thought, he dusted his hands off with Kevin Owens, but obviously not. So he's back. Monday Night Raw, man. Yeah, everybody is trying to stay through it. You guys, I'm gonna tell you a tip, man. Watch Monday Night Raw. If you got a DVR, watch Monday Night Raw 30 minutes in. Then at 8:30, go start the DVR. You can skip through it the damn near the whole show. That's how you do it right there. You can skip through the, fast forward and all that, man, throughout the commercials because, man, I watch a lot of old school WWE, whatever you want to call it on the network, man. And them matches don't have commercial breaks. It's not, a long ass match for 3, so come on, man. So I understand Raw has been what it is. I would love to see what they, do and the talks of them going back to 2 hours. Hey, if we're going to get it, maybe not, maybe so. But Randy Orton is killing it, you guys. Randy Orton just bodied the promo on Monday Night Raw. He got a new mask on. I'm loving it, man. Him and Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt. The story is amazing. I'm loving it, you guys. So I'm all tuned in. Sam got, about 5 people who he think will win the Royal Rumble. Fiend, Randy Orton. Hey, no more possibilities, man. I'm going with my man Big E. But hey, I think it may be still too soon, even though with the Rumble approaching. And yes, my girl Sonya Deville, I think her being involved more so in the segment with Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce, just standing there and just being right there without being removed, I think said a lot. I think I said a whole lot. So Sonya Deville is going to go a long way and going to have a good year here in 2021. Well, you guys, man, another thing that's been popping off this week, of course, NXT, man. At the end of NXT, we seen a fight pit between Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. What a matchup that was. It was an awesome. I love the visual, how they had the ring there, and then behind the commentary table, then you see, the whole setup for the fight pit. But Timothy Thatcher came out on top with the brutal submission. So, man, hey, man, I'm loving it. I am loving it. I'm loving AEW, man. See what's next with Sting and Darby Allin, man. And also, my man, Fuego Del Sol, if you've been keeping up with AEW Dark, you guys. So, check it out, man. Go check it out. But, man, this has been a cool week here on Talk Pro Wrestling. You guys join me next week. We're going to chop it up some more and recap some more pro wrestling, man. There's been trending is what's going on out there, you guys, man. And not just in WWE, but in Impact. I love the fact that the number one contenders for the Impact Championships, Tag Team Championships, is Private Party. Private Party is my favorite tag team in AEW, so I'm really looking forward to that matchup. It'll be cool. Their styles are different. With the big LG. Shout out to my man Ken Beckner, and my man Carl Anderson. So I'm pretty sure they Carl Anderson. But yeah, it's going to be cool, man. It's going to be very, very cool. But you guys, man, thank you guys for joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, man. Awesome time chatting with you guys each and every week. But before I go, you guys, man, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms, you guys. Follow me on Twitter at Dre on Wheels. Yes, follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe. Yes, go subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down below, man. Like this video, leave a comment, man. So the 1130 podcast YouTube channel could be recommended more, man, and get up out of there for real. And share it for real. It's not gonna hurt. Don't cost anything, you guys. Don't cost anything. Also, you guys, I just want to let you guys know the 1130 podcast, the show that comes out each and every Tuesdays, you guys, if you haven't heard already, is moving to Wednesdays, you guys. Yes, the 1130 podcast is moving to Wednesdays, February 10th at 11:30 a.m. Same time, you guys. Same time from Tuesdays to Wednesdays. And the 1130 podcast is coming to EB Radio. So your favorite talk show, your favorite show on Tuesdays is moving to Wednesdays. And not only that, you guys, you can listen to it on the road now, man. I was just on YouTube. Now I'm on EB Radio. So download the EB Radio app. It's 100% free. Download it. Just push play. The radio start playing and tune in at 11:30 a.m. each and every Wednesday starting February 10th, so you can hear the 1130 podcast, you guys, man. So I appreciate that so much. But here, man, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, keep following me, keep subscribing, leave a 5-star rating and review to get the podcast up and out there even more, you guys. I appreciate it so much. We're trucking at 2,000 downloads, man. We on our way there. I'm going to announce it, you guys. I'm going to let everybody know. I thank everybody. And we almost at 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So you guys, man, if you're liking it, if you follow, if you watch, I appreciate it so much, you guys. Thank you so much. But man, it's been a great episode. Really great episode, man. I appreciate it so much. But shout out to my man Fuego Del Sol, my man Sam Mitchell. Appreciate you guys joining me on the podcast this week. Yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.